we're so excited about Grace is the Pace, where you get to meet the members of World Changers Church Australia.
That we have authority. We've been given spiritual authority, and this is how we're going to be used to take the Lord's word out into the world.
He's going to ask you to lay something down. He's going to ask you to do something that necessarily in your own natural desires you don't want to do.
You have authority over your own emotions.
Yeah.
And once I had that revelation, it changed my life.
Are you tired, worn out? Are you burnt out on religion? Come to me, get away with me, and you'll recover your life.
The Bible teaches us that our thoughts are determining factors and which controls our actions.
And if you know God has called you into ministry, you know very well.
We are blessed of God, and in the New Testament we know that we have every spiritual blessing in Christ, that we are blessed with everything we need for life and godliness.
So as you watch this every Thursday at 10 a.m., you'll see the grace that God has placed on everybody's life for their race.
Good morning, World Changers, and all of you that are tuning in from wherever you are. It's such an honor that you all join us each and every week, and this morning we have another amazing Grace is the Pace, where you get to hear from a member of World Changers Church Gold Coast, that you get to hear all about the goodness of God in their lives, part of their journey, who they are, and that you are able to connect with them. And so this morning I have the absolute honor to introduce to you Tegan Martoni. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And so Tegan, she is the worship leader here at World Changers Church Gold Coast, and I like to refer to you as one of the originals.
It's the OG.
The OG. When we first came here, we had very few people, and Tegan, you actually were you actually were the youngest, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the youngest at 22.
Yeah.
So it's hard to believe that was 5 years ago.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been a journey.
It's still a journey, but yeah.
Still a journey.
It's like one of those roller coaster rides. And just when you think it's over, all of a sudden you go down real fast.
That's
and then go
right.
up again.
That's right. That's right. But God stays the same. Amen.
Exactly, which is just the one thing. You forget
Yeah.
everything else, it's okay. God's still good.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited this morning for you to share. You know, Kyle and I know a lot of your journey and your journey with worship, but I'm excited for you to be able to share with all of those that are tuning in and listening online this morning. And, you know, just open up. I want to start with, you know, the story of worship for you. Like, how did worship begin for you? Like, you know, some people think that God put something inside of you or whatever, but yeah, just share how it all began, how you realized that your purpose was worship or your passion. Share with us that story and journey.
Share your life. All right, in the space of 20 minutes. So I think if you want to start from the beginning, I did kids church, so back in Melbourne, because I'm a Melburnian born and raised, and did kids church. We had a praise team, and every Sunday was church. Every Sunday was kids church. So I started in kids church and then did praise team as a kid. As a kid, and then moved into a leader going into high school, and led the kids in worship, and but was happy to be at the back, like of the still on stage, but happy to be in the back line and everything like that. And you know, just had my older fam members, well, not actually fam, but adopted fam. So never wanted to hold a microphone, never wanted to do anything like that, but just loved to do worship. But definitely was good being at the back, you know, and now I'm always at the front, go figure. So did that for years, and then long story short, ended up getting up to the point of being 16 years old. So this is like my whole life up until 16, and then spent 5-6 years out of church, and then moved up to the Gold Coast and found World Changers. And I mean, I worked from like 18 till whenever I moved up here, and was always in retail, so always worked Sundays, so I could never go to church. Didn't actually have a church that I kind of found my groove in, or felt like it was my home, it was my safe place. But that's another story for another time. So we just rocked it out and worked, and then moved up here and found World Changers, and they heard me sing. Pastor Mike from the US was actually here pretty much. Shutting down the church, I guess, looking to do that. Yeah, that was, so it was on the cusp, so it was like they were coming down to, I guess, just kind of, to finalize finishing up the church down here, and met him, and ended up, my singing coach ended up making me sing for him, and and then ended up starting a 3-person worship team. Wow. I guess. And that was me and 2 guitarists, and actually I think Pastor Mike just came for a visit that time. Yeah, because we still had a season after that, and then we saw him again. We had a 3-person team, and that was it. And but before that, the whole church was satellite, so we didn't actually have worship. So a 3-person team was a big deal. It was always just watching the guys in America doing their thing, which I loved, because that was just my heart. That music is just the greatest thing ever. I could listen to that all day. So we did that, 3 people, and then a whole bunch of stuff happened, and then you and Pastor Kyle showed up, and there was a season of me not doing worship and just serving and standing out the front handing out communion while worship was going on, and I'd be like, I just want to be doing worship over there, and I'm like, here's your communion. You know, so just serving, and so that was the season, and then we started a team from scratch. We did. So built a team in a year, and I still don't even know how. Built a team in a year. God just dropped people. Literally. Our pianist Peter dropped from Brisbane. He just turned up one day. Never left. Which I'm not mad about. He's great. We love Peter. So that's a story that we're going to tell forever.
Well, that's awesome. So, you know, you said that as a child you worshipped and everything. Was it something just as like a young girl that you just would sing all the time? Like, has your parents said that you were humming and singing, or was it just something that you just were drawn to, or was there an encounter?
I don't think so. You know, I didn't actually. I feel like I was a bit of a late bloomer when it comes to like the music, which is so funny because I was chatting to somebody about this on Sunday, and I was like, I was always into sports. Sports was my thing. Music was never something that I guess I looked at as a avenue to go down. So I did everything else. I guess it was kind of like on the side, but it was never something that I thought I could pursue as a career or anything like that, because it is something that is so hard to get into. And so many people spend their whole lives chasing a dream that isn't obtainable, because it is such a rough industry. And so I think I would do a little bit of singing here and there and all that sort of stuff, but never anything major. And I think it was only until I was like early teens. That's awesome. I only started getting singing lessons when I was like 15. So that's awesome. Yeah, it's been
and then it just developed from there.
Yeah. Awesome. And then I got the right training, and then all of a sudden, bam, you know, I can sing. Oh yay, this is great. But still was always too scared to do anything, and just wanted to do worship really.
It was so interesting. I remember when Kyle and I first came, you know, you were the youngest there, and we were scratching our head, you know, here. Everything was on the screen. Right. And we knew that because we were briefed. We knew that you were gifted in worship, but we wanted to know you know, beyond what you were called to do or what you could do. Right. And so I remember we were like, why are you here? And he responded, it's the message. Right. It's the word. Yeah. Kyle and I were just like, what 22-year-old says that? Like,
still scratching my own head.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's all. And it's so funny too, because like, that's when you know that you're at the right place. Like the word is the word. It's the truth, because we were literally in, I think I called it the shoebox. It's like the really small. It's like when you put your shoe boxes in the wardrobe because you still got your shoes anyway. That's what I do. But so that was like the mini part, and that was literally just the size of a big bedroom, and there was nothing there.
Yep.
There was no people my age. There was I didn't have any of my own family.
That's right.
There was no music for me to get involved in.
That's right.
There was literally nothing, but I sat down and heard Pastor Dollar speak, and it was the first time I really understood. Like I understood that when Jesus died, He died for my sins, past, present, and future, and I had spent my whole life in church.
Yeah.
And I just
Such freedom.
never had
Such
that
freedom.
revelation. And I was like, that's it. I'm home. Like I'm a part of a American, like African American church, which I always want to be a part of because I was like, the music is amazing.
Yeah.
Just the atmosphere is everything. I was like, this is great, but I don't have to leave Australia, which is just perfect.
Well, I want to ask you also, what does worship mean to you? Like on a personal level, like, you know, when you're not having a microphone in hand, or as you call it, kind of the front line on the stage. What does worship mean to you, you and God?
Worship is, I guess it's my safe place. Like it's the place that I kind of run to when everything else is falling apart, or even if things are good. Like I always have music on at home. Like I'll always have something going on. Like there's always noise.
Yeah.
I don't do silence very well. If I'm doing silence, you know that things have just gotten too much, and I'm just like, I just need to sit in my own space for just 2 seconds. But I think for me, like I don't have to be singing worship to be able to enjoy it. Like I will just put on my music and I'll either be singing along, or I'm just there and it's just kind of calming me. I guess it's like when it's like my little well that I go to. I guess it's just it's great because I can take my well with me all the time. So yeah, it is. It's my safe place. It's what makes my heart happy. It's what makes my heart sing. Like, for a lack of better wording, like it's kind of like it's in my blueprint. It's in my makeup. It's in my identity, and not as a worship leader, but just worship, because I feel like that is how I get into my secret place.
Absolutely.
That's how I get into that place where it's just me and Jesus. It's just me and God. It's me and the Holy Spirit. It's just us.
Yeah.
You know, it's just me with my bestie. Like we're just doing our thing with worship, and
Yeah,
so
I love that, and I so can relate to that. It definitely is a safe place, a place that we are refreshed and that we are restored, and it's a lifestyle. I don't think it's something that you can be like, oh, I'm not worshiping today. It truly is a lifestyle. I mean, the Bible talks about making a melody in your heart, and you said it. Worship, you sing in your heart. You know, it's a nonstop thing.
Yeah,
and that's beautiful.
Yeah. It's
Awesome.
like coming back to the river.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you know, a little bit more about the journey. You know, you mentioned building a team in what, a year, and how supernatural that absolutely has been.
I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah. But, you know, building a team or a band, can you share a little bit about that? Kind of like the ongoing equipping and training. Just share with us some of that, because, you know, unless you're in it, you really don't understand, you know, all that it really takes, and the commitment and the sacrifices that it truly takes, and not just for you as a leader, but as the whole entire team.
Right.
So maybe share a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's funny because I always have people go, so what do you do for work? And I'm like, I run the music department at church. Like, depending on who it is, I'm like, music director, worship leader. Like, I just run the music department, like everything music. They're like, so what do you actually do? And I was like, it's just so much stuff. Like, it's like, it's set lists, and it's training, and it's organizing training, and it's learning songs, and it's putting things together. It's basically everything that happens on a Sunday in worship. That's what I do. And then there's extra stuff because there's the people that are a part of the team that you're equipping. Like, I like to call them my juniors, Alex and Caitlin, and that's not just because they're the youngest. That's because they're the ones that we're bringing up. And so I guess spending time with them and pouring into them, training them from the ground up in everything technical, everything worship leading, so the whole shebang, because it's not just a technical side. It is a worship, it is a spiritual side, but you have to train them separately and then you put them together.
That's it.
So
That's
I
it.
guess breaking it all down. So it's a good time. But
And that's what I love, what you just said. You know, it is spiritual,
yeah,
but yet it is technical.
definitely.
And it is bringing the two of those together, because
Yeah.
there is this natural aspect to it,
Mm-hmm.
but yet there's a spiritual aspect to it. You know, we always want it to be filled with the Holy Spirit,
Right.
but yet naturally there is a way to hold the microphone.
Mm-hmm.
There is a way to stand, or things that you don't do, like turn your back to the audience.
Right.
You know? So,
Yeah. I like to call it an awareness. It's like the
Yeah.
big A word. It's just an
Yeah.
awareness. So it's having an awareness of what you're doing as your
Yes.
body, because obviously the people that are in front of you, they're responding to what you're
That's
doing.
right.
In every way, shape, and form.
That's right.
And then also this awareness of a spiritual side, and
Yeah.
awareness of your team. There's a lot that goes into
Yeah,
it. It's a lot of
there is.
multitasking.
There is.
But when you break it down, it's achievable. You
That's
just
right.
have to break it down. But I definitely do think that, they're super important, both technical and the spiritual
Yeah.
side. You have to have both.
Yeah.
And
One thing that I love that that you do in your leadership is something that we call protect your passion. You know, that we really do our best, and that we've seen you take hold of the heartbeat of it, which is, you know, we don't expect you to serve every single week. We don't expect you to, you know, be present for every event, singing,
Right.
microphone in hand.
yeah.
But we really want people to take the time and to have a good balance with it, which is, you know, I believe, and I know that you know, is so very, very important. You know, we've talked about the journey.
Yeah.
There is a journey to this all. There's positive, there's negative, there's, you know, situations and circumstances and encounters, anything along the lines of the journey that maybe you have experienced, or, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just going from like a musical side of things, I guess anybody who's trying to pursue anything in life is
Yeah.
going to come up to some sort of rejection.
Yeah.
And that can
Yeah,
either make or break you.
great.
And I know some people like to say that rejection is sometimes redirection, and sometimes it's just people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes it's not redirection. Sometimes you're going exactly in the direction you need to be going in, but there is just a people in front of you, and
Yeah.
the rejection is from them. It's not from God. And I
That's
think
right. That's good.
coming from a place where I've been rejected in worship, I've been
Yeah.
rejected in the music industry, I've been rejected in every avenue
Wow.
of music,
Wow.
whether it be out of church, inside of church. And so I think when you look at the picture now, you would maybe say, oh no, it's okay, she's good, like she's never had that, but I've had everything. Totally.
The untold stories.
Yeah, totally. and everybody has that. And so I think
Yeah.
you need to honor that, and you need to, I guess, not expect that everybody has a story, but give them the benefit of the doubt that they
Yeah.
may have a story, and that what you see in front of you is not the whole picture, you know? That's
awesome.
like, that's a really good page of the story.
The highlight reel.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I have on my Instagram. Welcome to my highlight
Yeah,
reel, because this
yeah.
is not my life.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is
That's
this
good.
is the minute, this is the hour, this is the moment that I looked good.
Yep, yep. And I love what you said. You know, God never rejects.
Yeah.
Oftentimes it is people, because
It
God
is.
never rejects.
It is, but it's people who are acting or feeling like they're acting on behalf of God,
Yeah.
or not even sometimes that they are just in a ministry position and they're representing God,
Yeah.
or representing His word, representing His love, representing His grace. But we all suck at that at some point. We're all flawed. Like we all make mistakes and we all stuff up. And I
Yeah.
guess it's unfortunate that a lot of us are collateral damage in that.
Yeah.
And that's
Wow.
why it's so necessary and vital for people like you and
Yeah.
Pastor Kyle to be doing this, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you
That's
guys.
right. That's right.
There's no way. So
Yeah. We've had an amazing behind the scenes.
we have, and we continue
Been good to
have
watch
it.
you grow, and God be God in your life,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
For us
yeah.
to be like, okay, Holy Spirit, you know, you have her, and
Right.
you're making her, and you're molding her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful the times that you've came back to us you know, just after conversations, you know, you may not have understood, but then you've came back and be like, okay, you know, I get it, and I understand, and
Right.
you know, God spoke this to me as well, and it's beautiful. It's part of the journey, like
It
you
is.
said.
It is. It's definitely part of the journey.
Well, I would love for you to take a moment, because, you know, we have people listening and tuning in online, but to encourage the people listening, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe there's someone online that has stepped away from their passion of music or worshiping. Maybe it's someone that has in fact encountered rejection, or maybe they've encountered jealousy,
Right.
or maybe they've encountered just not fitting the mold, and or maybe they just need advice. So you have an open platform to encourage all the people online in any realm that's on your heart.
Gosh. So, I mean, I guess if you've been rejected from something, me too. And it's not the end of it. It's not, it's not the end of it, and it doesn't have to be. And unless you let it, it really doesn't have to be. And I think as long as you are just continuing on, as long as you don't stop, you're going to be continuing to move forward. And find the right people. Find people who will speak life into you and that will root for you even when you don't want to root for yourself. And it's life. And I guess remember what I said before. If you're encountering people, there's going to be there's just going to be sucky moments, but you have to know that it's not you, and that it's not God that's rejecting you. I think that's the biggest thing, because I think that's why so many people leave church, because they feel like God is rejecting them. And because that's just a misconception, and I think that does God such, like, it just doesn't do him any justice at all. And I think that's where we really fail and we really fall. But it's just, it is what it is. Like, it's just life. It's not perfect. It's messy and it's muddy, and it's got moments of, oh my gosh, but then it's got moments of absolute, like, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so I think, like, I spent 6 years out of church, and now I'm here. So there's no explanation for that.
Right.
Like, other than God.
Right.
Like, that was always my heart. I always did other things, but it was always my heart to do this. And it is literally a dream to be able to do this as a job. Like, that's crazy.
You've had the opportunity even to go to the U.S., to the home base, and worship with
some of the best of the best. Oh my gosh.
Share your experience with that. I know that, you know, and we never thought, when we first encountered you, it wasn't a thought in our mind to send you to the U.S., but then they invited you to come out to one of their major conferences. Share a little bit about that, because you actually traveled over by yourself as well.
That was the first time I'd ever left Australia, all the way to America. It was scary.
Yes. But you were a champion.
That was it. You just have no choice. And this is the thing. It's like, you get it done, because that's
What was that experience like?
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. I think for me, it was everything that God had put in my heart in certain areas. Like, I'd always dreamed to be a part of an African American church, purely because music is what pulls me, and their music is what makes my heart sing. Like, it is just the most incredible, just everything about it is just so incredible. And it's just something that you don't encounter anywhere else. It's something that you don't encounter with anybody else. Like, it's just, it's amazing. And so I never thought I'd ever go to America, let alone go to a conference and lead with people who I call my fam now. Like, they are with me for life. I'm just like, I don't care if you don't want me. Like, I've taken you as my own. Like, you are. But they just embraced me. Like, they totally took me under their wing. I know, like, especially Corinne, she just totally just took me under her wing, and just, we're like kindred spirits, and just Yeah, it was such an incredible experience to be able to stand on that stage with those people and lead in that environment and lead in a different country and represent church, represent myself, everything that I had worked for. I remember going home and just like setting the shower going, oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened. That was like everything everything I've ever dreamed of.
It was great.
And so that was like such a big moment for me because God was like, here, like this is a desire of your heart and you didn't give up. And this is where you've gone. Like when you had a choice to leave and you stayed with your peace and your peace was your guide.
That's it.
It was years later.
That's it.
But then I was standing on that stage with them.
That's
Oh
it.
my gosh.
And that's key, not giving up.
Yeah.
Through it all. And you've said some powerful things, you know, from God never rejects you to never give up. You know, He is our safe place. That is powerful.
Yeah.
Simple but powerful, and I think sometimes we forget
what God
that.
is. He's simple but powerful. It doesn't have to be complicated.
Yeah.
And I think the moment that it gets complicated, you have to question what it is.
That's right.
Like the moment there's any sort of confusion, because God knows you. He knows that I don't receive the same way that you do. He knows that my way of thinking is not necessarily the same way that you think.
That's right.
So He's not going to be like, here's the one way that you have to understand it. That's it. Like
That's right.
That can't be God, you know? Like I just would totally throw everything else out the window.
That's right.
So I think the moment it gets complicated, that's not God. And that's not to say that life can't get complicated.
Yeah, for sure.
Like that, don't get me wrong there. Life gets complicated. That's not to say that life does not get messy or complicated or to the point where you're like, I'm not sure what I'm doing. But God is always the same. Like His love is simple, it's pure, it's true. It's not a complicated love.
That's
you know,
good.
and I think that's what we have as humans. Love is complicated for us.
That's right.
But God is straightforward.
That's good.
Like He's black and white, but every other color as well.
That's good.
But it makes sense.
That's good.
You know, like
I love that.
So I think that's one point too. Yeah, if it's complicated, that's not God.
You're preaching too. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite worship song?
Oh my gosh. So that's like the worst question, like ever. If you're gonna set me up to fail, that's like the best way to do it. I would say that I have so many. There's not a song. There's songs. But I think Champion is one that I have been having on repeat, which I think is actually Dante, I think, is in there. And I think it might be a Bethel one. But oh my gosh, it's amazing.
So how about we share that in the community group today? Sure. We'll do that.
We may be doing it next week, but you know.
Awesome.
Just saying.
Awesome.
But, yeah.
Well, I commend you for leading a worship team during a pandemic.
I commend the worship team for sticking with me during a pandemic.
Awesome.
Just saying, you guys rock.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah, I mean, you know, look, none of us have a blueprint for it. It's all been a learning curve for us.
Like you get one piece of the puzzle every step of the way.
I tell you, but we have just, championed it through the fumbling around, and God has still been God in it, and He has led and guided in every realm. So I commend you for that, and the team as well. You guys have been amazing.
Well, we would not be still standing if it wasn't for you and Pastor Kyle. So you call us, like I say, that I stand at the front line. You guys stand at the front line and cop every blow. Like,
Quitting is not an option.
It's not. It's not, especially when you've come this far. You guys have moved country,
That's right.
moved state.
Stake is in the ground.
That's
Amen.
it. That's it. So it's like we've come too far to back down now and seen too much stuff. And
that's right.
And I guess like when you've had the life experience like that you've had, like the life changing experiences that you've had, you just want other people to experience that.
That's right.
Like if it was enough for me, then it's enough for them, and you especially during a time like this, you're like, no, there's more. It doesn't have to be like this.
Yep. So. Well, I just want to thank you for being a part of Grace is the Pace. You know, another slice of heaven. I think I've said it almost every week. No, not at all. This has been amazing. Thank you for sharing with everyone that's online, and I just want to thank you all for being with us. You know, for yet another morning of Grace is the Pace to hear all about God's goodness here with Tegan. And all of you are champions yourself. And so be on the listen out for the post in the community group for one of Tegan's favorite worship songs.
Yeah.
As she has many, and I'm sure that's the case for most worshipers. But thank you guys so much for being with us again. If you would love to be a part of Grace is the Pace to share your story like Tegan and so many others have shared, please feel free to send us a message, send me a text, an email, and let us know that you would love to share your story here on Grace is the Pace. And until next time, we'll see you soon, and God bless you.
Bye.